This episode of the Sankofa Pan-African series will be celebrating the life of the legendary Mansa Musa. Musa Keita I is better known as Mansa Musa. He left huge footprints in the sands of time. Now, his given name, Musa's given name at birth was Musa, whilst Mansa is the Mandinka word for ruler or emperor. Musa Keita became the 10th ruler or Mansa of Mali in 1307. Now, the empire which Mansa Musa inherited controlled territories that were rich in gold, salt, and copper. Mali also monopolized trade between the north and interior of the African continent. Under Mansa Musa's rule, the empire grew even wealthier. The reason why Mansa Musa is one of the best known African rulers is the wealth that he controlled as the emperor of what was most likely the wealthiest empire on earth during his reign. Now, the wealth that he controlled, when compared to the rest of the world at that time, is best illustrated by the pilgrimage which he took, accompanied by his wife Inari Kunati, to Mecca in 1324 during the 17th year of his reign. Reports show that his entourage to Mecca consisted of 60,000 men, including a personal retinue of 12,000 people, all dressed in brocade and silk. Mansa Musa, who rode on horseback, was directly preceded by 500 people, each of them carrying a gold-adorned staff. The emperor was also accompanied by a baggage train comprising of 80 camels, with each carrying 300 pounds of gold. It was during this pilgrimage to Mecca that the world became aware of the astonishing wealth of Mali. Arab chroniclers, both in Cairo, where he stopped on his way to and from Mecca, and in Mecca itself, were so captivated by the procession that they reported about him in the most glowing terms. So while in Cairo, Mansa Musa and his caravan spent and gave away so much gold that the value of gold dropped, causing inflation which Egypt did not recover from for the next 12 years. The accounts of Mansa Musa's stupendous wealth quickly reached Europe, and a map called the Catalan Atlas, which was created in 1375 by Spanish cartographers, depicts West Africa with an image of Mansa Musa sitting on a throne, holding his staff of office in one hand, and in the other a large gold nugget. As soon as the Catalan Atlas was published, European leaders started sponsoring so-called explorers to Africa with the sole purpose of finding the source of Mansa Musa's gold. Now, I know there are still people out there who, even today, are apologists for the colonization, the conquest, and pillaging of the African continent. Such people claim that colonization was not all bad. Some even try to argue that Africa benefited from colonization. Let us pause and imagine the trajectory that Africa was on during the period of the great civilizations, empires, and kingdoms, compared to the trajectory that Europe was on. Imagine if Africa's resources had not been carted away to develop Europe and the Americas. And by resources, I don't just mean material resources, but also human resources. Imagine if we had been left alone by the Arabs who started the rape of the continent and the Europeans who perfected it. Imagine what the world would be like today.
If you like our series on Africa's ancient history with Dr. Bumi Oisan, watch more of our educative African content on the Sankofa Pan-African Series YouTube page, linked in the descriptions below. And please feel free to leave your suggestions, news tips, or topics about Africa you'd like us to cover.